In the vastness of space, we are but a glint of dust. Our curiosity, boundless as the unknown. And so we embark, piercing the veil of darkness, revealing the wonders of the cosmos, but not without danger. Shadows lurk in the darkness, yet we are not afraid. We are pioneers. We are dreamers. We are warriors. Trapped as we may be, we fight to break free, and the void, our battleground. In the face of death, we forge on, for our place is amongst the stars. If you can't tell, I've always loved sci-fi and space, and ever since its release, I felt the pull of Ghost Signal, a Stellaris game. And now it's on every major VR platform, and I'm just going to tell you right away, I'm caught up in this game's orbit. It's one of the best VR games released this year. Ghost Signal makes the statement that VR doesn't need to be a first-person game, and that great VR games can be designed entirely around sitting in a chair. And once you start playing this game, you're not going to want to get out of that chair, because this game is damn addicting, and I've only just begun my voyage into its depths. So a lot of Ghost Signal is still a great unknown, so don't consider this a review. Ghost Signal is an action strategy roguelike. You control a lone ship trapped in a perpetual cycle of death and rebirth. Your goal, to break free from this never-ending fate and find a way to escape. What really struck me about this game is how action-oriented and fast-paced it is. This is not a slow-moving RTS space opera where you control things from a distance and watch events unfold. You're very hands-on, plotting the ship's course, selecting targets, manually firing the guns, and even dodging and shooting down incoming attacks. All of this pretty much happens in real time. The combat is full of split-second decisions, strategic positioning, and weapon management. All of this is made possible by the game's intuitive control scheme, but it does take a bit of getting used to, and my guess is at first, most people will find it a tad awkward. Charting the ship's course is done via motion controls, but in a different way than you expect. Holding down the A button causes time to slow, and a laser line to stick out from your ship. You can control the direction of the laser by rotating your motion controller around like this. The distance of the line is always fixed, but you can plot a limited number of line segments in one go. To lock in a course, just release the button. Boosting is bound to the Y button on the same controller, and that makes the ship travel along the charted course faster. Or, if you don't have a course charted yet, the ship jolts in the direction it's currently facing, which is extremely effective at dodging last-minute things. Plotting a new course instantly replaces the old one, allowing you to rapidly readjust to the ever-changing combat situation. You fire the gun via the trigger on your dominant hand, but you also aim and select targets with this hand. Once again, using motion controls, you just kind of vaguely point the controller at what you want to target, and this reticle here shows what you're currently targeting. You can very rapidly switch targets with just minor wrist adjustments. You change weapons by rolling the analog stick around, selecting between the game's 3 different weapon types. You use your non-dominant hand to activate the scanners, which also collects and finds resources as well as loot. Overall, I really like the controls, but they do take some adjustment. At first, plotting a course might be a little awkward and wiggly, but it's very fast and responsive, and if you do make a course mistake, it's extremely easy to fix. And remember, time slows down when you do this, so it's rather forgiving. For the most part, the targeting works well, but sometimes it didn't feel like it was targeting exactly what I wanted. And it can also be a little awkward to focus on an enemy that is very close to the camera and therefore your face. So if you like an up-close and personal view of the battlefield, keep this in mind. I'm curious to know if eye-tracked targeting would work better. With all this chaos going on, it might be a bit erratic, but often enough you're staring at exactly what you want to shoot anyway. But I don't really think that's an option. But overall, the targeting system is not a problem. It works well, and I would say probably works as intended 90 to 95% of the time. And when you do miss-target something, it's often just a quick little adjustment on your wrist, and you're back in business. Your weapons come in 3 forms: short-range cannons that specialize in hull damage, long-range lasers designed to take down shields, and near-infinite range missiles which deal massive damage to both. Lasers still can damage the hull, but it's just reduced, and same for cannons and shields. It's nothing revolutionary, but hey, if it ain't broke. Both cannons and lasers have unlimited ammo, but do take time to recharge. Missiles, on the other hand, are finite, but you will collect new stockpiles throughout your journey. But eclipsing all of that is this game's molten roguelike core. You're going to find your standard stuff that modifies just about every imaginable stat you can think of, like upgrading shields, health, damage, deploying decoys, increasing fire rate and recharge times, and a whole lot more. If you build right, your long-range lasers can now cause explosions and chain to other targets, including the enemy's missiles aimed at you. All components can be upgraded 3 times, and sometimes it's best to sell and recycle less important upgrades, netting you extra cash and health. Sometimes that extra bit of cash is all it takes to upgrade a component that is core to your build, and at the right time, that can help you build up enough inertia to blaze through anything in your path. And like all good roguelikes, there are some fun synergies to discover and some creative upgrades unique to Ghost Signal. But some components come with drawbacks, so build carefully. When embarking on a procedurally generated voyage, this ship comes equipped with a star map. It's a great way to chart your journey and pick your battles. It's very reminiscent of a horizontal Slay the Spire. You're going to encounter standard battles, events, mini-bosses, shops, and of course large boss fights, but my personal favorite are the alien encounters. They typically come with some loot and feel very unique from your typical space battle. They are truly a spectacle to behold, and to be honest, in general, the game's visuals are gratifying. Floating amongst the game's many celestial wonders left me starstruck, oftentimes just staring and taking it all in. But again, I am a bit of a space nut. But I do think the game could probably use some more variety in both sets and events. And after a few runs, you'll probably feel like you've seen all the different locations. Oftentimes in the distance you can see big planets and space stations, and I think it would have been next level to have some battles that require you to defend or navigate around these objects. As gamers, we always want more variety, but I don't find this game is really lacking in content. It's just a small point. Enemy variety is pretty good. The lighter craft are easy enough to dispatch, but if you ignore them for too long, they'll eat right through your shields. Keep your eye out for those ramming ships. They're not afraid to go full-on cataclysmic on your ass. You'll find some very creative enemy types with advanced technologies capable of manipulating the fabric of space-time. And often enough, you'll find yourself switching between all 3 of your weapons in strategic combination to stand victor. You're also going to earn Stardust, which can be spent on tech trees between runs to permanently upgrade your ships. And the tech trees feel about as vast as Sol System. I've played this game for around 10 hours now, and as you can see, I'm still light years away from filling out these tech trees. There are also other ships to unlock which come with their own page of unique upgrades. There's a lot to unravel here, and I've only just begun to scratch the surface. I have no idea what these boxes do here. They look like loadout options, but I can't seem to find a way to use them. If you know what they are, please let me know in the comments. But the gameplay loop is addicting and keeps me coming back for more. I've only unlocked 2 of the 3 ships, and Ship 2 definitely was built with a different gameplay strategy in mind. It specializes in becoming a battering ram, using its boosters to pulverize enemies. But I was lucky enough to try the 3rd ship in a daily challenge, and holy shit, that thing is awesome. I'm only going to show it on screen here for a little bit, as I don't want to spoil what makes it so special, but I can't wait to unlock it. When you beat the game the first couple of times, it doesn't feel like you really reach the ending. You're still trapped in this never-ending loop. My hypothesis is you either need to beat it with all 3 ships to fight the real nemesis, or somehow manage to win a run with all these difficulty modifiers enabled, and that looks tough. And while I may never captain a voyage radiant enough to escape this loop, I will forge on, because the most important step I can take is the next one. Journey before destination. Bonus points if you know where I adapted that quote from. If you like this video, let me know. You can tell my content is a little different from your typical YouTuber. For example, I spent hours writing a poem about this game and space travel. So if you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing, and catch you next time.